You see that kid on the right with a black jacket and bright orange shoes? That's me. That's baby JJ. Now, if you were to ask him, what is education? He'd probably just shrug and say, I don't know. That's realistically speaking, but he'd probably say something along the lines of a classroom with a pencil and a teacher. But baby JJ also learned in ways that weren't exactly in a classroom. For example, ice skating. I mean, look at him, he's skating against the crowd, like he's skating the wrong direction, and someone had to literally point me in the right way to skate. So obviously, baby JJ wasn't the brightest, and could definitely use more education. Fast forward a couple of years, and JJ would probably say education is learning new things, that being swimming. It could also mean learning piano, or even learning the ukulele. Obviously, all of these activities and extracurriculars are much more than just things my mom forced me to do. As stated by Emma Goldman in The Social Importance of a Modern School, a new day is dawning when the school will serve life in all its phases and reverently lift each human child to its appropriate place in a common life or beneficent social efficiency, whose motto will not be uniformity in discipline, but freedom, expansion, goodwill, and joy for each and all. If not for all those extracurricular activities, I would have no grasp of free expression or free form, and would be stuck in a pretty boring life if it weren't for knowing how to swim, play piano, or ukulele. The idea that I can explore myself and have hobbies and passions allows me to explore a life that's self-expressive, fun, and eventful. To quote Emma Frank from one of our previous class discussions, formal education is structured in the classroom. Non-formal education is still structured, but outside the classroom. Non-formal learning seems very flexible and could look like swimming lessons or Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I can confirm that as a competitive swimmer and former Boy Scout that each of these activities are great opportunities for one to learn and grow. This non-formal way of learning still allows one to experience things firsthand, which is essential to learning and comprehending new things. And while it may not be learning in a formal setting, like in a classroom with a teacher and textbook, it's still a great way to learn new things and acquire experiences that will be helpful in later life. As stated by Jean-Jacques Rousseau in A Mill or On Education, a man is not planted in one place like a tree, to stay there the rest of his life, and to pass from an extreme to another. You must travel twice as far as he who starts halfway. Among all the authors we previously read from, many of them draw a comparison between plants and the growth of humans. Rousseau has my favorite comparison to this by far, where there's no way anyone can learn in a stationary format. To truly understand the world around you, it's essential to traverse and explore different regions rather than keeping your feet planted in one place. To quote Chiara Spiga from one of our previous class discussions, many of the most meaningful moments of my education have taken place outside of school when I'm traveling. I've had to learn how to speak enough French to communicate with locals, how to use the city's public transportation system, and what things to avoid doing that are frowned upon and are considered taboo. Chiara's idea that traveling is an informal way of learning is very true, as there's no better way to learn new things than a culture shock. For me, it was shocking to know how common smoking was in Paris. Even my Uber drivers and restaurant waiters would smoke on the job. And while this form of education may not include an instructor or pen and pencil, there are still endless opportunities for one to grow and become learned from exploring unfamiliar places. Informal tracking serves as a catalyst for self-expression and social harmony, whereas formal tracking challenges nonconformity and instills structured education and criteria. The best way to shape your life is through your passions, and a harmonious blend of both informal and formal tracking allows for self-actualization and authenticity, paired with built-in societal norms to connect with the world. The image I chose to exemplify this idea is salmon swimming upstream. I think it's really symbolic that these salmon persevere and fight against the relentless torrents of water, swimming against the tide and the rivers and lakes to meet their end goal. Not to mention they're dodging hungry bears while they're trying against the current. The salmon represent going against conformity and conventional methods of learning to pursue their passion, or in this case romantic passions, so they can reproduce once they get past the current.